cat in the wall, eh? Okay, now you're talking my language.
You ever drunk Baileys from a shoe?
Oh, great. Thanks, Mother, for replacing the baby aspirin with LSD.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountain?
All right, welcome into the View from C-Deck. And we're back here to talk about the Ohio State beating down Wisconsin. And today we have a very special guest, someone that you haven't seen yet this year, and you probably wish you never had. What's up, Haas?
How's it going? I just got back from helping Penn State run their offense, and some decisions had to be made. And, well, James Franklin's downstairs eating some dinner, so I got to be quick. I'll make this quick because I got to go heat up his instant mashed potatoes for him. But other than that, it's been a good year so far. Drew Aller being out kind of, hurts us a lot, but I still like the chances of our guys at Penn State doing a good job.
If you were the offensive coordinator, it explains so very much of why Penn State has lost 4 games in a row. And a lot of that can be traced to their actual coordinator. But we're not here to talk about Penn State. We're here to talk about the Buckeyes. #1 team in the country, throwing down the second shutout of the year on the Badgers. And the Badgers offense is as bad as advertised, maybe worse. We hold them. They got over 100 yards on the last drive just because their second stringers were in. But hold them to like 150 yards of total offense, less than that. Never even threatened to score until that very last drive either. Longest play of the day, Jason. What was their longest play of the day?
I'd say a guess, 17 yards.
It was 19 on a fake punt.
Oh, yeah.
Which Leroy Roker, have fun watching that in film, getting shook by the punter in the open field. You may be fired after that one. I was kind of like, I don't want to see him anymore. Maybe we need to get Styles back out there. Lorenzo Styles, that is. But the Buckeye defense is great. Offensively, we finally saw it. We opened up the playbook against, at least the passing game playbook, against a good opponent, and Julian Sand made us feel like the decision was well worth it. 36 for 42, 393 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 to Carnell Tate. One was an amazing catch by Carnell. What did you think about Sand on Saturday? This what you wanted to see with this passing game finally getting opened up on the road?
Yeah, Day said it best after the game. He's like, we wanted to put a lot on Sand's plate, and they did. That was the whole knock. There wasn't really knocks against us, but if there was one, it'd be like, they're kind of sheltering Sand, and as anybody should. You look around the country and other young quarterbacks, teams aren't putting them in good spots, and a lot of quarterbacks are failing. So it was nice to kind of ease them into this. And I don't think Wisconsin's, the Wisconsin of old, so I think they picked a good opponent to kind of do this too. And it was nice that they did this on the road too, for him to kind of get his feet wet in that territory too, to get him out of his really comfort zone that he was in the past month. So yeah, great spot for him. He was making just good decisions. That's, a basic thing to say, but also accurate throws on the sideline, high. So if it, was off target, nobody can catch it. Just a great all-around performance by him.
Yeah. Oh, his accuracy is everything you thought it would be when he was recruited. I mean, when we brought him in, I guess as a transfer, but as a recruit, why he was talked about so much. You see him, he's not prototypical size, not prototypical athleticism, but he's got the arm and he's got the accuracy, and he just knows where to put it. And he also, I thought he did what I was most impressed with. We dropped back so many times that Wisconsin did start pinning back their ears and got some pressure on him, and he maneuvered his way through the pocket very well, I thought. Something that is like you can't teach. I don't think you can teach pocket presence. Like it just is something innate. You got the eyes in the back of your head type thing where you just know when to move and where to move to get yourself open for a throw or a run. And he did an excellent job on Saturday.
Yeah, no, maneuvering the pocket, stepping up, doing all the right things, getting out, making accurate throws on the run too, things that, quarterbacks of old here kind of struggle with at times. It was good to see Tate, be the center point of the offense, kind of, them shading coverage to Jeremiah Smith's side the whole game, as opponents do. So, yeah, Tate's stock is rising in the draft too, really quickly. So that's good. It's just good to see other receivers like Njigba and Mbuka. They're not the Marvin Harrison that they got the coverage in college, but Tate's getting that coverage as a wide receiver too. So it's really cool to see that. So.
Yeah, it's 10 different receivers in the game too. So we got to see Quincy Porter get out there and play some action. It was like the game was never like totally out of reach. I mean, it was just because Wisconsin's offense is so bad, but it was nice to see guys get like real reps against another number one defense. So Quincy Porter, we saw Mylan Graham finally get a catch, makes a nice catch along the sideline. Lots of dump offs too to Bo Jackson in the passing game. He didn't run very well, mainly because of blocking. We'll talk about that in a second. But he does have 5 catches for 57 yards. But yeah, Tate and Smith, that's the best 1-2 punch in the country, man. They are just, if you shade to Jeremiah that hard, Tate's going to punish you because he can make all the same catches too, just not quite the freak athletically.
Yeah, I was watching the Cowboys game today, and it like really reminiscent of our offense. Like Dak Prescott's on the money. You have Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. You have Ferguson, who's kind of reminiscent of like, yeah, we don't have the run blocking that the Cowboys do, but like it's just when you have that many weapons, this offense is just not going to face many challenges from any defense. Really on our schedule until the Michigan game probably.
Yeah, and that's just it's just a different beast, the Michigan game, plus the elements going up there. Now, the one thing that was concerning yet again, except for maybe a little bright light in the second half, was the run game. You know, you can say they were selling out to stop it, but their D-line was just straight penetrating through our blockers, especially Taker Shabola a lot. So, I mean, Bo Jackson goes 10 for 26 yards. Yeah. Sands kind of running a lot. I mean, he doesn't get much because he's like running for his life a lot for like 1 yard. But Isaiah West comes in the second half, another true freshman. After watching that and even his first game, our two best runners, pure runners, are true freshmen, right? Like he had a great game Saturday.
Yeah, it's hard to judge running backs when they are consistently getting hit behind the line of scrimmage or at first point of contact at the line of scrimmage. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, it's hard to judge. You know, even Saquon doesn't look good when he's getting hit at the line of scrimmage. But when you're giving him a hole, then it's when you're making people miss. I think that's when I can judge running backs, if you can make that first guy miss. But yeah, that West looks really explosive when he gets the ball, kind of decisive, goes hard, and then has that next skier maybe too.
Yeah. And the tight ends are the tight ends. I still think we playing too much. I'd like to see more 4 and 5 wide. But they all have solid game. Kasmeric gets a touchdown. Max Clare has quite a few catches, these short passes and these RPOs. The offensive passing game, not much to complain about. Offensive running game, we got to find more of a rhythm. But I think we just got to get more creative too. Like there's too many tells on our run plays that it's going to be a run. And I do think also like we ran a lot of RPOs. I think Julian missed a couple reads that like he completed passes because they were playing so kind of soft on our guys that he could just throw it anyway. But there's one, like, if he had handoff to Bo Jackson in the second half, it was totally blocked on the short side of the field. There's nobody there. Like, he would have been just off to the races, like, right away. And he threw a pass for, like, a 7-yard gain, but, you know, it could have been better. Defensively, obviously, we're one of the best defenses in the country, probably are the best defense. Historically good so far, but we haven't played very many good offenses. But against this atrocious Wisconsin offense, obviously, they dominate. Arvell Reese gets another sack, who is now like showing up in the first half of the first round in NFL mock drafts, which is stunning for a guy who probably wasn't even being mocked to be drafted in the first 3 rounds because he barely played until this year. Kenny Curry also gets another sack, stacking onto his season total. Caleb Downs has his probably best game, at least from a statistical standpoint, 6 tackles. He's back there for a tackle for a loss. What did you think about the defense Saturday, though? Did we even learn anything with how bad that offense was?
This is the typical, like, bad Big Ten offense, like Wisconsin, Iowa. Like, I can't judge much, but you do need to see that effort. You do need to see the consistency and not the dip, like coming down to their level. So the fact that they didn't do that, I mean, you're not going to have that. They're all upperclassmen at this point. You're going to get that consistency, I feel like, from them. So, yeah, the Arvell Reese, I mean, just his length, being at 6'4", like he's going to be some guy that he could possibly be picked in like the top 5 to 8 picks if he keeps playing the way he does, just because a team could look at him, play him off the edge or drop him back as the outside linebacker, off-ball linebacker. I could see him being picked ahead of Caleb Downs just because of his ability to play more on the line of scrimmage. So, but yeah, it's just awesome to see the plethora of talent we have.
I mean, between he and Downs are what make it so hard. They're what make this defense work.
Styles too.
Yeah, Styles is though he's more like Cody Simon was last year. He's going to clean up any mess that like anything that gets through, he's going to clean up. But they're the ones that are ruining RPOs, making because they're moving around so much. And Arvell's spying, so he's dropping into their line of sight. Caleb's dropping back and taking away RPO, like the main read on the RPO for the pass. And that's why his stats haven't been great, because he's been playing back there. But it's like the same thing we did last year in the playoffs, where we just totally erased like their pass options on their RPOs. And that with Arvell, he's almost like his sacks have a lot of been in like delayed blitzes, mainly where he's a spy and then he like realizes the quarterback's not going to run, or he sees a lane and he's just allowed to go shoot it. Like you can't account for that when there's no actual real plan for him. I think like his plan is wreak havoc.
Yeah, I do think some plays it's like this to me. It's very reminiscent of Phil Jackson's triangle offense, where you're going to have a triangle with Styles, Downs, and Arvell. You're going to basically have them form a triangle on the field. And usually it's Downs in the back, but sometimes Downs comes off the edge and Styles will be back. So it's having that it's very reminiscent of just having the triangle. They each have like their section of the field and they clean up on the edge. And it's really, really hard. That's the mush rush. You contain the quarterback and they're on the outside to make sure that nobody leaks containment out there. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, the only thing I saw that was bad was Kenyatta Jackson jumping twice on the same drive on third down.
That was Myles Garrett. He just switched jerseys. He wanted to go out there for a little bit.
Well, it's funny because Kenyatta in the lead up was talking about how he was like really wanting to like do pure pass rush reps, kind of like how Myles said like a similar thing, that he doesn't get to pin his ears back because they don't have the lead all the time. And like when they finally, it was like 3rd and 19 or 3rd and 22 on one of them, and like 3rd and like 13 on the other one. And like he's like, yeah, I get to rush the passer, and he just jumps both times, and you're just like, can't do that. Doesn't end up with the back though on the day. We've only given up 41 points in the entire year right now, which Penn State gave that up to more than that to just UCLA, and they're a good defense. There's like a lot of good defenses that have given up more than that in a game this year. Is this a historically good defense? I mean, or do we need to wait till we play like a offense that is complete? Like we played Washington's offense, we saw get shut down by scum again this week, by the cheaters. They have all the talent, but they have no line. Like their O-line is just terrible. Like Texas has a great O-line, I think, but Arch is just terrible right now. Like, do you need to see us play like Indiana? I think is pretty complete, or even Oregon before you like crown us. Are we crowned?
I think we're crowned. We're going to be crowned the best defense this year in college football, just de facto. We don't really play another tough game, another tough offense this year. Even though Michigan might be a tough game just for the atmosphere and everything, their offense, while I think it is getting better, I do think Underwood is getting better, and I do think that they are kind of evolving him in the pass game. There's not an elite offense we're going to play until the Big Ten championship game. But at the other hand, the other teams, the other good defenses also struggle at times. Like Penn State giving up 40+ points to UCLA. If we play UCLA, granted at home, whatever, that's a good comparison. It's like I said, it's bringing the same level of energy every week, matching your opponent, not going down to your opponent's level. That's what I think separates the elite defenses from the good defenses. And if we are consistently doing that, I don't see why you wouldn't give us the crown.
I mean, the only thing, maybe some team that can actually test us consistently in the passing game, because they can hold up against our pass rush. Because obviously we know IGB likes to hold, but he's so tough to get past. Like if they don't call that, he's hard to get. You can't get open against him. He's all over you. His problem is he's going to interfere with you a lot of times. And the rest of the corners look pretty good. Like Devin Sanchez, I think, has shown marked improvement as he's gotten more reps. I think he got a total BS pass interference call in that game when he almost undercut a ball for interception too. And the guy just like flopped basically. He put his hand in his back, but the guy kind of just fell down without really getting pushed. It was BS. And also, we continue to never get a holding call. They were straight up tackling our defenders on the strip we had, or when Kenyatta got the pass tip in the second half. He was getting tackled as he tipped the pass. Like he got the quarterback from behind as he's rearing back his arm. He's getting tackled as he just gets his arm and hits that, and they don't call it. It's right there in front of you. Ref. Like, God, it's also dangerous. Like the way he's getting taken down is like reminding me of how Nick Bosa got hurt against TCU. Was getting tackled like the same way by a defender. Like, Big Ten's got to start calling it. I don't care that we're destroying them. You got to call it.
Yeah. Something that you kind of touched on, but I kind of wanted to kind of maybe go into a little bit farther was the rotation of guys, seeing West, seeing the other rookie receivers go in there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought coming into this year we were going to take a dip, replacing a lot. And I mean, I didn't think we were going to stay at the same level. I thought maybe a dip would happen, but I thought next year would be the year that would be more of a rebuilding year because of losing Downs, losing Styles, losing Tate, losing Claire. I don't know. I thought next year would be more of a challenge. So I think we're developing into more of a committee system, especially in the backfield. It's nice. A lot of NFL teams are going to that committee system in the backfield, rotating in more wide receivers when we have leads like that. And then defensive linemen doing a bigger rotation, seeing Sanchez in there more. Like, I do like that he is rotating more guys in there and seeing what we have for next year. So that way we're not, taking weeks to build up. We're hitting the ground running next year like we kind of did this year.
I like it. It's definitely a departure from the past with Day, who's like always kept starters in way too long. I think he tried to stat pad with CJ to get him a Heisman. There's like a lot of times he's done that. And I think part of it this year, though, is like the non-conference ended up being, obviously Texas was a hard game. And then OU ended up being a hard game where we had to keep the starters in like the whole game. So these kids didn't get as many reps. I think he's trying to get them, like, he knew how bad Wisconsin's offense was coming in this game. He knew there was no chance we were losing. So he was willing to go out there and like let guys make some mistakes on offense to get some reps, get some valuable game time. And I think it paid off. Like, I think it was a great strategy. What they did, opening up, like, they've held it in against Illinois, Washington, and Texas, like the 3 games that we had a chance of losing. Like, it was going to take Texas, obviously, was kind of a coin flip coming into the year. The other 2 we should win, but it's on the road. It's tough. Conference opponent. But he finally just went ahead and opened up the playbook against a team he knew couldn't score against us. And then he let guys play. And it was just, that's how it should be played. That was very smart. To me, we look like Georgia of the 2 years they won the national championship. And really the year before that too. We're not trying to beat everybody 59-0. We're trying to get ourselves built up for when it's time to win a championship. We're ready to go. And hopefully that starts in the last game in November.
Yeah, no, it's refreshing. I mean, maybe having Patricia, having a guy that's been in the NFL like that, he's doing that on the defensive side of the ball too, bringing in a lot of pro style, thinking on that side of the ball too. So, it's really nice to see kind of this monster maybe building for years to come.
Well, I never say that now just because of NIL and your roster can change a lot really fast. But yeah, it looks. I mean, the guys that'll be back next year, they're pretty nasty, especially the quarterback and wide receiver there. All right. Our opponent next week. Usually we look forward to it, but I think bye doesn't stand much of a chance and isn't worth talking about. So instead, like we usually talk about kind of in a short way, Casey and I talked about this last week with Direwolf. We usually ask about if this win made you more confident about winning a championship, but we'll talk about like the championship picture of a whole. And we've talked about how we kind of like the best teams, and then we see 5 of the top 11 teams in the country lose last week. There's like, it seems like every week there's 5 to 6 teams getting upset in the top 25. I think we're pretty clearly ahead of everybody except for maybe Indiana of all teams, but they were good last year. They brought everybody back except quarterback, and their quarterback is leading the country in efficiency right now. He's number 1, Sands number 2 of guys who've actually like attempted passes. Do you see anybody though that if we played them next week, you think could beat us?
Alabama, just for their playmakers on the outside. They have legitimate 1-2 punch in receivers. Outside of that, Indiana is just unknown. They're not unknown. They beat Oregon, but they're an unknown.
50.
They're an unknown to me. They're an unknown entity. I don't know what I'm getting with them as a whole in the big games. So Alabama to me, Texas Tech was one, but their quarterback was out last week, so it's really tough. I do think that they are like legit all around, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Their defensive line's pretty nasty. But yeah, outside of Alabama, I don't really see another team right now that I would be scared of losing, if we were to play them Saturday.
I wouldn't either. And that's also because playoff day is different beast. Like he's such a good game planner when it comes to that. And hopefully he comes up with something that everything we're tinkering with now seems like we're tinkering with the run game one week, we're tinkering with the pass game this week. Maybe everything comes together come playoff time, or like I said, hopefully that last week in November. The schedule sets up nicely because Penn State is that game. I'm going to that game, and my wife bought me tickets, and I love her to death. But we paid way too much now for what's turned into a dog game. But you'll be there too, right?
Yeah, I got some tickets for James Franklin. He kind of wanted to tag along and kind of watch the game and see what his team could do.
I was really looking forward to screaming at him, and now I don't get to. And I'll just scream at Jim Knowles instead. But he's like up in the booth. I guess I can turn around. I kind of be in front of him.
I still think it's gonna be a good atmosphere. It's the last good home game of the year, kind of what everybody was looking forward to. We have nothing to look forward to other than the Michigan game after that. So, if UCLA keeps winning, that'll be a good game at home. You never know. I don't know, but yeah, I do feel bad for you paying for the fence. Like that is the greatest collapse that I can think of.
It is, and like them. I mean, it's like you think about all the teams too that were preseason. We talk about our road to the championship. That were preseason because they're stacked with like NFL draft picks. Yeah. There's a good chance none of them, like Clemson and Texas and Penn State, are the ones that like were going to be right there with us in terms of NFL draft picks, and they are probably none of them are going to make the playoff. I mean, obviously some of them are gone. For Penn State and Clemson are out for sure. Texas is probably going to have to win out, and they got doubled up in yardage by 2-5 Kentucky on Saturday, even though they won in overtime. It doesn't look like they're going to make it through unscathed the rest of the way.
Yeah, no, they're going to lose another game.
So you're talking about, I mean, like the usual suspects though, Georgia and Bama. Gunnar Stockton's looking really good, albeit I think against some bad defenses. Bama though probably is the most complete team besides us, like from a pure talent standpoint, that's going to actually make the playoff. Those two would scare me a little bit, but if they end up not in our side of the bracket, then we don't have to worry about them until the championship. But either way, like I'd be pretty confident playing anybody right now, assuming we stay healthy. I think there's some guys. I think like if we lose Reese or we lose Downs, it could be the defense could go sour fast because I think what they do is so unique.
Yeah, don't even talk about it. Don't even put that. Don't even put that thought out there. I don't know. College football, the NIL is making anybody can get beat on anybody week more of a thing. I feel like, except with I don't know. We are a little bit of an exception to that, I think, because the Big Ten. I think the bottom half of the Big Ten is so bad that we may never lose again to one of those teams. But I seriously don't like. It's been a while. I know we lost to Iowa under Urban, and Purdue, but like under Day, he doesn't lose to these teams. I think the talent discrepancy is so real. It's not even close. We may never lose to one of those teams again.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm sure Florida State thought that 2 years ago when they were going undefeated that, we're back running the ACC again. And then, I mean, I think we're in a better position than they are, obviously, but just never say never anymore. Yeah, I just don't see how anybody's standing up to this defense. Like who's holding us under 20 besides Texas in the freaking opener when we're just trying to be short. I mean, I guess scum because they're going to run the crap out of the ball. They're going to suck the clock down. That's why it was also nice that we went high tempo. First time we were dead last in tempo coming into that game.
What, like, does that mean like hiking the ball with like I
think like the average time between snaps.
Makes sense. That's why, I don't know, it makes sense why we weren't scoring a shit ton of points, I guess.
Yeah, because I mean, our yards per play is like top 10 still, but
Yeah.
we just weren't trying to do that. Because Day's talked about this several times. He wants to shorten the games because he wants to shorten the amount of plays we play because the season's so long. He's trying to keep guys fresh as can be, and it worked last year. Just gotta against a team like Scummo that's going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
The actual math behind a game is the more talented you are, the more plays you want, because then the more plays your talent can win out. So I think going tempo against them might be a key to success because, if we're undefeated going into that game, we're making the playoff no matter what. Probably making the Big Ten championship game no matter what. So it may not matter that much. Just go out there guns blazing, baby.
In a 12-team playoff, it matters less about how you win, I think. Like the style points matter less. Like in the 14 playoff, how many times did Urban and Day talk about like style points? They was, and now you never hear them talk about like trying to run up the score, style points, how you win, like that. I feel like that talking point doesn't get brought up, except when you're like have like resumes that are identical. Then you can kind of compare games, but like nobody's gonna have, we're not gonna be compared to teams with resumes similar to ours. To be honest,
right? If you're a Big 12 team with 2 losses, you may want to run up the score for people, just to show that you can. Or like Notre Dame, they got those 2 losses. They needed to start running up score to show that they're actually good, which they did. They ran it up on a couple teams right after that, and they have I think a really good shot at making the playoff now too. Like it sets up very well for them. And they're a team that could be, if we get them early in the playoff, it could be like if they're in the 8-9 game and they play us and we're the 1 seed, that could be an interesting matchup because I think they won't be. They played us well in the second half last year. They have probably the best corner in the country, who they may feel like they can try to play Jeremiah. I don't know if that'd be a good idea, but they would have a puncher's chance. Although CJ Carr was trash against USC, and I don't think anybody's running the ball on us. Assuming we want to take away the run, I don't think anybody's running the ball on us that much.
That's the best running back in the country, though.
Yeah, the best 1-2 punch for sure.
Yeah,
Jeremiah's best running back, and Price is not bad either.
Yeah,
it's kind of like we were last year. But not an experienced senior quarterback, a redshirt freshman in Carr. All right, but that'll do it for this episode. Sorry y'all had to see the Haas back here again, just giving us hot takes. But actually, you didn't say anything about hot. Give me a hot take before we're done.
A hot take before we're done. The Big Ten's only going to get 2 teams in the playoff.
There's no way. Who's beating Oregon?
USC.
And that's got 10. I think 10-2 Oregon still gets in. Who else is beating them? Washington?
Yeah, I think they lose and they're at 2 losses and they might get left out because they don't have a good win.
If they do lose twice, if they don't make it, yeah, it'll just be Indiana and Ohio State.
Yeah.
Nobody else is making it. Nobody else is getting, like, I guess Illinois would have an outside chance because their schedule's not that hard the rest of the way. But
you don't get in losing 56.
2 losses and a 50-point loss, one of them being by 50. But it could be to the top 2 teams in the country. There you go. There's your good losses. You love that. There's your hot take. Tell your hot take about losses.
The hot take about loss. I hate the you have 2 really good losses. I don't care about who your fucking losses are. You got to have good wins. Matter more to me than losses. Ooh, you have 2 good losses like Notre Dame did. Who the hell did you beat? They finally beat USC, so now they should be ranked that high. Don't rank people high because they happen to lose to good teams. Rank teams high because they beat teams. Tulane has 1 loss. Navy is undefeated. Both of them are unranked. Make that make sense.
Yeah, that's true. All right, but that'll do it for this podcast. Haas, though, thank you for coming on. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment. Tell the Haas how ugly he is and how much you don't want to see him on here ever again. I love it.
Me and James Franklin are going to Oklahoma State, so I'll probably be gone for a little bit.
Oklahoma State. James Franklin. Oh, man, that sounds just like a terrible match. But that'll do it for this episode. We'll see you guys next time.
Hey guys! Whoa, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.